Ostapenko apologized after U.S. Open clash with Townsend. According to The Athletic, Latvian tennis star Jelena Ostapenko has apologized for comments she made to American player Taylor Townsend during their second-round U.S. Open match. After losing 7-5, 6-1, Ostapenko appeared to tell Townsend she has no education and no class. In a statement posted on social media, Ostapenko said she meant to refer only to tennis etiquette, not education or culture. She wrote, "English is not my native language, so when I said education, I was speaking only about what I believe as tennis etiquette, but I understand how the words I used could offend many people beyond the tennis court." Townsend, who is black, responded that the remarks were hurtful and offensive, saying Ostapenko expected her to react a certain type of way. Naomi Osaka later weighed in, calling it one of the worst things you can say to a black tennis player in a majority white sport. The incident serves as a reminder that words spoken in the heat of competition can carry far deeper weight than intended. Okay, what's the real message here? If you say something wildly offensive and considered to be racist by half the world, then you need to at some point realize, oops, maybe that's not what I meant, but I darn well better apologize. I give credit to Ostapenko for apologizing, but it was a little bit late. And what she or her management team must realize, the real money in her career is being famous enough and having a well-known brand so she can get ad deals, sponsorship deals, product endorsements, and that's why it's essential she not be seen as an obnoxious person, a rude person, or even a racist. Okay, let's dig a little deeper here. This is a thorny issue. So we have an Eastern European tennis player. She's talking to an American black woman and saying she's uneducated. This, to many people, seemed a little bit racist. I'm not calling her a racist, but it certainly strikes a lot of people that way as offensive, as racist, and it does, I think, call upon a moment of reflection of what this whole issue was about. Now, if you're not a tennis player, you might not have any idea what the issue is. If you are a tennis player, you might not have known what the issue was. Because I got to confess to you, I was not aware of this issue. The whole issue was the ball, the one player hit the ball, it hit the net, and it kept it from going out. It dropped in, and she won the point. And apparently it is a custom in a lot of the tennis world when that happens to say, oh, I'm sorry. Well, this player didn't know that. It's not something she grew up doing. And to her credit, I never heard of that. I've never apologized when I won a point because the ball hit the net and dropped in, even though it probably should have gone out. I didn't know that. And I played tennis for 50 years. I had lessons on a lot of different clubs. So maybe I'm incredibly stupid too, but it's not written in the rule book anywhere. And yet it is a part of common tennis culture in some circles. Now, where this particular athlete got into trouble, I believe, is wanting to be holier than thou and lecturing someone on etiquette. Here's a general rule. If you are in front of the whole world and TV cameras are pointed at you and you're got thousands of people looking at you, that's not the time to educate other people on their bad manners. That's not the time to educate people about how smart you are and how stupid someone else is. Because if you do that, it's really easy to look like a jerk. And that is what happened to this Latvian tennis player. Is this a permanent scar? She did apologize. And she did say, English is not her native language, which I have a lot of sympathy for people speaking in a language not their first language, because I'm an ugly, stupid American. I only speak one language, English. So when people are doing interviews and speaking in languages that aren't their first language, I do tend to give them a little benefit of the doubt. And she did use some of the right words, but as Townsend points out, the comments were hurtful, belligerent, offensive. You have bigger stars like Naomi Osaka saying this is the worst thing you could say to a black tennis player, saying you have no class, no education. I should point out, she didn't use any actual racial epithets. She didn't use any slurs, but calling someone no class, no education is offensive. Have we seen the last of this tennis player? No. That means tennis is a sport where how you actually perform on the court is going to be more important than what you say at press conferences as far as your professional rankings. But in terms of long-term financial monetization, Ostapenko needs to really, really go through some charm school, go to a charm class, because as Maria Sharapova has proven, as we talked about last week, the real money in tennis is being an articulate spokesperson, being a likable or an attractive spokesperson. That's where the real money is. You can make a lot more money with a good media image if you are a top 20 tennis player than you can if you're number one and nobody likes you. So that's why things like apologies are very important. So let's break it down for you. Everyone, including me, occasionally has said something that offended somebody else. And quite often the tendency is to sort of dig in. No, I'm right, and they're wrong, and if they don't see it, it's their problem. Well, guess what? It can be your problem too, fair or not. Whether you're in a company situation, a cultural situation, your own city council, it's very easy to say something, not meaning to offend. And it's also very easy to simply apologize. It doesn't mean you're saying, you're right, I'm guilty, I'm a horrible person, I'm a racist, sexist buffoon. You don't have to confess to horrible crime. But when you do say something that is offensive to other people, that genuinely hurt people's feelings, and that was not your intention, my advice is apologize, be sincere, and do it as quickly as possible. Every day that goes by without you addressing the issue, it can percolate. It can allow more and more people to form negative assessments of you. It gives people in social media more time to talk about it and to talk about why they don't like you and why you're guilty of these things. So fundamental communication advice, and this can become a full-fledged crisis communication situation, is you need to address the issue head on, apologize if you think there's any possible reason why a reasonable person could hear what you said and be offended. Doesn't mean everyone's offended, doesn't mean you're factually incorrect, but if a reasonable person could have heard you, heard another person, and come to the conclusion you were insensitive, why not apologize? It's not about being woke. It's not about being politically correct. It's called just being a decent human being. And that's what the world needs more of.